Welcome, everyone. Firstly, to the guest speakers, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedules to be with us here today. And for the attendees, thank you for your interest. I'm sure you are just as excited as I am to hear the valuable insights that these inspiring women will share with us today. I just want to make it clear for the attendees, your microphones will be off for the entire duration of today's session. However, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box below. Make it clear who the question is directed to, and then I'll read it out for the guest speaker for them to answer. I'm going to start with a short little introduction on who Zoho is, and then we'll get straight into discussing the key topics for today. Okay, so Zoho is a global technology company. We've been around for 25 plus years. And in this period of time, we've been able to craft 50 plus business applications that enable your company to run entirely online. We have been fortunate enough to expand globally and service clients in over 190 countries. Right, so we have quite a few loyal customers throughout Africa that have been using Zoho products for decades. However, we have recently started our Zoho Africa social media pages. Oh, where's Divya? Is she? Oh, wait, she's still there. Okay. We recently started our Zoho Africa social media pages 2 months back, and our new Cape Town office is due to open in a month's time. So it's a very exciting time for us as we expand throughout Africa, and we have the ability to collaborate with many more brands on meaningful initiatives. So a competitive advantage for Zoho is that we offer one platform whereby all apps are integrated seamlessly and work together to automate your business. Zoho is trusted by over 60 million users worldwide, and these are just a few of our incredible global customers. Then I wanted to share one of our initiatives with you that is quite close to Zoho, namely transactional localism. So in the words of our regional manager, Andrew Bourne, what we describe this as is to have a community level impact. We believe it is important for tech companies to take the jobs right where the majority of the talent is, which is in the rural towns and villages. So our aim at Zoho is to allow skilled workers to work from their rural hometowns to assist previously disadvantaged communities to become self-sufficient economic clusters. So we aim to empower rural communities by building spoke offices in these non-urban areas, which stops the erosion of talent as people no longer need to move away from rural areas in search of work. And then lastly, as you all know, our incredible giveaway. So all the attendees, you will receive an email tomorrow, which will explain how you can activate your Zoho wallet credits. And it'll also include a link for you to book a concierge call with someone from our sales team who will assist you in ensuring that you select the most suitable products to solve your current business challenges. Alrighty, to introduce our guest speakers, Ms. Rabia is currently not on this call, but we are hoping that she joins soon. We have tried to contact her, but yeah. Anyways, we'll start with the first 3 incredible women here today. Firstly, Divya. She is the founder of Amazi She Tribe. Her intention in founding a women-owned, women-led, and women-only organization reflects her belief that inclusion requires the birth and growth of women-centered organizations to challenge the concentration of economic power, still held predominantly by the male minority. Had to read that out because it's quite a powerful and impactful summary of the Amazi She Tribe there. And I personally have listened to quite a few of Divya's lives, and her insights into topics are truly eye-opening. Then Jolene, the founder of iLiterate, a full-service marketing agency based in Cape Town. Her business has truly grown and developed with the digital age. By adopting the latest software, she's been able to scale her business and achieve great success. As we all know, the fourth industrial revolution is upon us, and I'm interested to hear how this has benefited Jolene, which she'll be sharing today. And then Max, the founder of Macro Mixes, who are pioneers in the health food industry and make the most delicious food items. I can confidently say this because I buy her products on a regular basis. Their products are developed with long-term health in mind and are delivered to your door simply with a click of a button. Max's business has truly grown at a rapid and impressive rate, and she has some great business lessons. I'll still introduce Ms. Rabia, as this is recorded and everyone can also listen later if they weren't able to attend. So Ms. Rabia, the founder of Switch Beauty, a South African beauty brand born out of the internet. They have a very interesting motto because their products are based around solving problems. Oh, here she is. Just in time. I was just doing your introduction. Are you still on mute, Ms. Rabia? You're on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
Oh, there we go. I'm figuring it out. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm working on Indian time.
No worries. I was just about to do your introduction, so perfect timing. I was just saying how incredible your motto is around your product solving problems, that your product ideas are crowdsourced, meaning that members of your community can actually voice their pain points through your platforms, which are taken into account when strategizing new products. This is a very interesting business philosophy, which I'm sure you will be expanding upon today a little bit later.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the first question for Divya, which is all around the importance of following your purpose in business. Seeing as Amazi She Tribe offers the most incredible self-discovery courses, do you believe that following your purpose in your career path is a crucial factor for business success?
Such an important question. So, our belief is that when you awaken to your purpose, it really is the foundation of building a business. And, when we think of purpose, especially among women, we often over-index on passion. So we spend time thinking about what we're passionate about and how to bring that into existence. But purpose is a confluence of 4 interlinked and equally important questions. And, we've put them up there. So what do I love? What does the world need? What am I good at? And what can I be paid for? And, we often find it harder to answer the questions around what does the world need and what can I be paid for? Because those are questions, especially as women, that we really have to spend time unpacking. So, my perspective is, rather than thinking about starting a business, think about the problem that you believe exists and the solution that you're passionate about providing, knowing that people are willing to pay for that solution. So it's almost a reframing of why you would found a business, because a sustainable business addresses a real need and a real problem. And, I think particularly tapping into this repeatedly, this is not a once-off exercise. It's an interrogation and a framework that I would encourage anybody to be using on a consistent basis. And it's actually a framework that we as a She Tribe went back into in a very immersive way last year when the pandemic hit, and kind of went back to what is our why, So I think it is absolutely fundamental. It's the foundation of anything that you want to build sustainably.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you. And following on from how, following your purpose in business, the next question is for Ms. Rabia about her believing in her ideas and following a completely unique path, because she was an entrepreneur who dropped out of the school, yet was awarded with Forbes Women Africa Young Achiever at 21. So my question for you is, how did you decide not to follow the norms of completing your school career and actually following your own path in life? There must have been fears that you had to overcome this and actually follow your passion. Can you please share that with us?
Firstly, Tessa, thank you very much for making me sound so cool. I want to take what you just said and put it on my CV or in my Instagram bio or somewhere for people to see. And to answer your question, I feel the most insane amount of imposter syndrome at every point of my career or journey as a business person, because I don't think this was supposed to happen. I When I started my business, I was 14 years old. I was in high school at the time, and I was like, you know what, we need a cool makeup brand. I'm gonna make a cool makeup brand. I know how to do it. We got to start an Instagram page, because Instagram is where the real stuff happens. And so I started an Instagram page, and one thing sort of led to another, and my business 6 years later has grown from that to this. And so making the decision to leave school wasn't really a decision. It was something that I needed to do at the time, because I started the business in grade 8, and then by the time I had gotten to grade 10, it was taking up so much of my time, and it had taken off so well that I was like, you know what, mom and dad, this is happening, and it's happening for real, and I have a good feeling about this, and I need your support in I want to leave school, and I want to find a proper office place, and I want to hire some people, and I want to get this thing off the ground. And luckily for me, very, very, very fortunately for me, my parents were like, okay, cool, Rabia, we believe in you. Also important to take into consideration by this point in my business, I had accumulated at least 2 years worth of balance sheets to show to my parents, to be like, look, guys, it's profitable. I'm not gonna end up on the streets. And so there was some confidence that I could give my parents in helping me take that step. Um, yeah.
Okay, great. That's amazing that you had a support system to back you, and also, the courage and the confidence to go with your gut feeling, and also, the financial proof as well. Um,
100%.
then, based on this, starting a new business on yourself, as Max also had a similar situation where she was the sole woman owner. There must have been hurdles on your road to success, Max. And I think, like we discussed, initial startup capital, not having a massive team, doing everything on yourself, preventing burnout. Can you share how you overcame some of these challenges from when you started to where you are now?
Sure, thanks so much. I actually laughed at this question because it implies I've like overcome them and we're now smooth sailing, which I don't think is ever the case in business. I made a lot of mistakes, especially the burnout one. At the end of last year, I literally couldn't even hold my own body weight in like a plank position. And I love it. I'm a strong woman here, like physically, I mean, because the stress had like impacted me physically that badly. And so I'm so passionate about
Oh my
actually
gosh.
telling people it doesn't have to be that way, And so my angle to answer this question, I thought, let me not go into the specific barriers to success or obstacles you're going to encounter, because there's going to be so many and they're going to be so like varied. Let me rather think about what you would need to overcome really anything. And for me, those were, if you have like creativity to problem solve, you need to have energy to put in consistent effort every single day. And then obviously like a positive attitude, as lame as it sounds, you want to have fun on the journey, and have a laugh. So those things are really important, and you can do that if you're taking care of yourself. And so preventing burnout is pretty much essential. There's a couple of things I do that help, because you have to remember, I think when you have your own business, you're never done. So there's always going to be a problem. It's not like you clock off at 5 and like I did my work day today. You actually have to decide. I don't stop when I'm done. I'm stopping at the end of what I've decided. I schedule off like a weekend a month to try to put my phone off. I've only really succeeded in doing that like twice because I do love work. But these things I think are really important to be strict about so that you can continue long term, and have those qualities in order to overcome the barriers. And small things like a short morning routine where you just prioritize your day properly, make sure that your day is actually in alignment with what your values are, which are not just going to be business related. You still want to live a fulfilled life. And a little midday check-in, I like to do like a little breathing exercise. So all those kind of things. And then obviously from a business perspective, just having clarity and focus. Busyness is not being productive or even effective. So rather knowing where you're going and making a clear plan, because then you can be motivated, then you can be productive. If you just feel like you're putting out fires all the time, you actually need to come back to the drawing board and just start at the bottom again. And I think lastly, just to know that when you start, you won't have a big team, you won't have a lot of money. And I think one of the implications of that is learning to do a lot of things yourself. But as soon as you can, you need to teach someone else to do those things, and you really need to delegate, because otherwise you're going to eventually feel like you're doing it all and you have to do it all because you're the only one who can do it all. And so the sooner you realize you're probably not the best person to be doing most of that stuff, and you can teach someone, you learned it, that everyone else can also learn a skill, teach them and just delegate as you go. I guess my favorite quote is work hard and rest hard, because it's so lame, but it's so true. Be effective in both your work and your resting. Yeah.
No, completely. I think you mentioned quite a few important points there. And I think setting boundaries, I would say, was like one of my takeaways from your answer there. And it's quite hard, especially when you love what you do. Your business is like your passion. You just want to work the whole time, and you want to do absolute best, and then you don't actually set this aside.
Yeah. The more you put in, the sooner you're going to get to wherever you want to go. But you have to realize you're actually not going to get there if you crumble on the way. So and I think people, especially in our generation, I'm quite also passionate about this. Hustle culture is kind of glorified, but the truth is, burning out is from lack of boundaries and lack of balance. It's not really admirable to get to that point, especially as women. I think sometimes maybe we feel like to prove ourselves or we have to do that, but actually that's not helping anyone when we get ourselves to that point.
I actually read a quote that said, "Rest is resistance."
That's very, very cool. I love that.
Hustle culture is over, guys. We're not doing that anymore.
No, I've been caught up with that. Like, I constantly feel guilty that I'm not doing enough, and that I'm not maximizing every single hour of my day, and I'm not working hard enough. And I feel like so bad to chill or relax. And the working culture, as you said, is like hustle. You got to do better. Perfectionism. Like, hustle is the best thing to be doing, but you don't actually realize when you're trying to compete all the time and just work that you are going to burn out, and then you're not going to be effective and reach your goals.
Effective. Why actually making scheduling time out, whether it's some nights in the week to have dinner with family or a full weekend, far in advance, and guarding that with your life, as important as a work task. So as in, if you fulfill that, it's as satisfying to you as if you satisfy a work task. That's how I have to frame it. It's not like, now I'm going to have a little rest. It's like, that's the next thing that's coming, and it almost is a to-do. Like, doing nothing is my to-do, which is lame. But I think if you're an entrepreneur, if you don't do that, you're always going to be like half on, half off, just fixing a little thing here. I'm just going to work on this on Saturday because I kind of just freaking know.
And actually putting it on your to-do list, I think, that could really help. No,
you don't have a choice.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing that. Thanks, Max. Okay, let's move on to the next question. This one's for Jolene. So, quite interesting. In a study that Zoho recently did with the Worldwide Walks, it indicated that only 1 in 10 businesses in Africa have actually started their digital transformation journey. So therefore, in total, 21% are fully digital, which is quite low considering the rest of the world. I think these statistics are a little too small here for you to read on the slide. But based on this, how would you advise women listening here today on taking active steps to moving their business entirely online? Did you start with automating sections of your business first and then developing from there? And I mean, there still seems to be a sense in our country of resistance towards technology, software, moving digital, not necessarily in the younger market, but maybe, people that have been in business for a few years.
So surprisingly,
Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, so thanks very much. Surprisingly, there's a lot of fear across generations. So this includes the younger generations as well. A lot of fear around technology and what it means to really use it to its full potential. So yeah, we being in the business that we are, which is marketing, graphic design, copywriting, we've had to use technology right from the get-go. So 15 years ago, when we started our business, we needed to have Adobe Photoshop in the Creative Suite. We needed to have Microsoft products on board and all of that. But as things grew, we needed to employ more and more applications that would help us to run our business in the best possible way. And eventually that ended up being a sort of basket full of applications scattered all around the web. So what we did recently, well, about 2 years ago, is we moved over to Zoho. So that's made a big difference in our lives. But I'd say for women to make that journey and to take the step, one needs to research and consider in one's company what steps or what can you do within your organization? What's going to help you if you can automate processes and functions that'll help you run your business easier. So if you look at your business, will it be your accounting? Will it be your social media? What things can you do online and using software? What things can you do that will make your business easier to run and make things, run business a lot quicker? So for example, with Zoho Social, you're able to post your social media posts in one area. You don't have to log into Facebook, then into Instagram, then into LinkedIn or whatever. You can do it all in one place. So that's just one example. But I'd encourage people to don't be scared of technology. Places or applications like Zoho have fantastic backing. They are secure. They've got great data centers and that they're hosted in, and you are secure. Your data and that is secure. And using these applications, if you can use Microsoft Office, today you can pretty much use anything unless it's a very specialized software like Adobe. But using these applications is easy. It's a little bit of a learning curve initially just to find your way around, but it really is quite simple. And one's got to be able to overcome that fear initially and just say, okay, we're going to, let's see what we can do within the business that'll make things easier. How can we automate processes? How can we run the business better through applications? And have a look at your business and decide that. And then search which applications are going to work best for you. And which are going to work for you, really. The most important thing is that any application should work for you. It should work for your business. You shouldn't have to put in more time into running that application. It should work for you. But yeah.
No, that's a good answer. Thank you. I think analyzing your business and, being specific on what type of technology and what company you use, I think is very important. And I think that whole analyzing your business and stuff links into the next question, which is around market research, where Rabia stated that she wanted a tech-enabled, affordable price, transparent beauty brand. So, Rabia, did you identify a gap in the market before you launched your product? Did you do competitive analysis research amongst existing local brands? How did you realize that there was, a gap in the market for your product?
You know what, Tessa? Firstly, I just want to say thank you for using all of these beautiful pictures of myself when I look like this, so people know I have the range, I have the capacity to get there. And then secondly, to answer your question, I keep saying this, but it keeps being relevant. At the time I was starting my business, I was 14 years old. So I didn't know what market research was or competitive analysis was. All I knew was that as a beauty user, so makeup user, skincare user, there was something that was sincerely lacking in the market. And for me, that was a brand that existed on the internet, that was using the internet as a medium to connect with its consumer and to make meaningful transactions. I knew even at that age that there was a better way to buy beauty, and there was a better way to make beauty. And obviously,
Mm.
you have social media, you have the internet. I was looking at the way brands in the US were doing it. I was looking at the way brands in Australia and Europe were doing things, and I was like, you know what, we're simply not keeping up here in South Africa, and this seems like a cool thing to do, so let me do it.
I think without even realizing, when you were looking at YouTube and different articles and different brands in the US and all out of the world, you were doing comparisons and you were, identifying what we didn't have in South Africa. So you're probably more
100%.
wiser than you thought at that young age. This links into another question for you about social media, because, you stated that Switch Beauty was the longest standing internet beauty brand in the country at the time when the world went online. So in fact, 2020 was your best year yet. So what tactics did you use on social media to grow your following? And more importantly, to maintain or sustain that loyal following? Because as many of us may know, your number of followers on social media means nothing if those followers aren't actually advocates for your brand. So how did you build up such a loyal following?
I think being a digitally native person, obviously I was born at the time of the internet happening, so I never really had to learn how to use the internet or how to use the internet as a conversational tool. It was just like, of course this is how you use social media, of course this is how you use the internet. And I've always sort of looked at Instagram, which has the its main kind of core following and community engagement on Instagram. I've always looked at Instagram as a conversational tool rather than a marketing tool, and I think that's something that's really helped work in favor of Switch's growth, just because of the fact that at any given time it's a two-way conversation between my customer and me, regarding product, regarding it's sometimes it's not even about the Switch product. Sometimes it's about another product that I found from another brand that is working amazingly for me, that I want to share with my followers, or the community that we've built around Switch. And I think where that community really comes into play is when we are researching and developing for new products. Because what happens is, through every stage of the production process, I'll go on Instagram, I'll get on a live, or I'll post a picture, or I'll post a series of stories, and I will ask my consumer, is this something you guys will use? If it is, how can we sort of custom make it? How can we tailor it to be something that solves a real problem in your beauty routine, versus just sort of sorry for my profanity, but throwing shit at a wall and hoping it sticks? Because I feel like a lot of beauty brands a lot of brands really sort of sit back and they're like, well, what does he want, or what does she want, and how do we get that to them? Where they don't realize social media is such an incredible conversational tool that we've gotten to a point where you can simply just ask the consumer, what do you want, and then you can go back to the drawing board and you can make it to that exact spec for them. So yeah,
that's really interesting. So would you say, if anyone here today maybe had an idea and they weren't sure if they should execute it, or if consumers would enjoy it, or they're deciding what to change, and they're in that phase of developing a product, to simply actually put themselves on Instagram and ask the simple questions to people on their following would be a good strategy for them to follow?
100%.
Crowdsourcing, it seems so simple, but
crowdsourcing is where it's at. And I think for me personally, I like A, B, and C, right? And so sometimes if I'm busy trying to develop a mascara or lip gloss or whatever it is that I'm making at the time, I like this about the mascara, I don't like that about, I know that. But I need to be able to open myself up to the idea that somebody else might not like the very same thing that I like. And the only way that I would do that without conducting very costly market research is hopping onto Instagram and asking my very, very, very valuable consumer base, who are more than happy to interact. I think people love interacting with brands when it's meaningful, and when it actually when they are not just being heard, they are being listened to. I think people love engaging with brands over social media. A lot of the time brands will post these like questions and like surveys and stuff, and consumers are just like, I don't want to answer this because I know you don't actually care. I know you're just asking me this because you want me to think that you care. And so if there's a very real kind of response, or very real like tangible thing that they can see that is coming out of their responses, or them putting in their time to your brand, then crowdsourcing is definitely the way to go.
Perfect. Thank you. That answers that question. I just want to quickly mention to everyone that's watching, if you have any questions as we're going through this, please feel free to type them out in the chat box and I will read them out. Okay, so the next question is also around social media and how personal branding is more important than ever. And if any of you didn't know, Max is also an incredible influencer under the name Sugar Free Sundays, which she has a very strong personal brand. So Max, in your opinion, how important is personal branding in today's business landscape?
Sure. So I actually think Rabia could answer that question, because the way I see personal branding, and I'll explain now how that can be a similar concept incorporated into your business, is kind of just what she was speaking about. And that is fully what we do at Macro Mixes. So I'm kind of going to answer the question twofold. Personal brands, obviously yourself. So as an entrepreneur or even an employee, we all have them. I guess it's just kind of like an online personality, and how much effort you put into that and what you portray is kind of up to you. But the goal with that is, I think, not to try and be liked by everyone, but rather to be authentic to who you are, because it's really an opportunity to communicate things like values, share a journey. And then when you're honest about that, you end up with your tribe at the end, or like like-minded people. So don't go in trying to like, what do people want? Be like, who am I? And in terms of a personal brand, and show up as that. And then people who, want to be in your community will be there, and that's what you want. Once again, I don't think it's all about quantity. It really is about quality at the end of the day. But from a business perspective, it is so powerful, because you can have quite a personalized business brand. And that's definitely what we've kind of embraced at Macro Mixes. And that kind of goes back to what Rabia was saying, was asking for input. We share the highs and the lows. We, ask for feedback all the time. And we're super honest about what's going on. Like, oh my gosh, this has happened, kind of show it in quite a candid way. And I mean, with the tools that we have at the moment in terms of Instagram lives, Facebook lives, it's so easy to just hop on and really be in the moment and not do some pre-planned stupid media release. You're just saying, hey guys, you guys are like, I feel like customers, it really is a genuine relationship. Like, you want to serve them and they want to use what you have to give. And so it's literally a friendship. Why would you treat it as anything other than that? But both of these kind of come down to, I think, the core element of vulnerability, and just embracing that in terms of how you show up is so important. And that doesn't mean like just, airing all your dirty laundry and crying all day. It means that you celebrate the wins together, because you can show maybe how hard it was to get there, or that when times are a little bit, crazier, people will be understanding, because they've been taken along for your journey. You're not just trying to take advantage of them. You're actually trying to share a story and invite them in to join the story with you, because that is what you are doing. It's not like, I think with bigger corporates, sometimes it can be like, it's just a transactional thing. But for us, it's like, that person is going on their journey. We want to support them as the guide. And you can only do that taking one step and communicating the whole time. And I think showing up in your space, whether it's personal branding or the business, more personalized brand, with the two factors of authority, because you do need to be seen to be know what you're talking about, with what you're talking about, or the products you have or the service you have, and you will. And then empathy. And I think vulnerability is what enables that empathy, because it's like, I know what you're going through, what we're going through, and we can overcome anything together. And the most exciting thing about that is, I think when you show up like that, it shows other people that they can too, and just embraces the humanness in all of us. I think a lot of people think they have to have all their ducks in a row before they have a business, and then something goes wrong on them. As we're all humans, we're all here to support one another, and if we just like act from a place of genuine love, I think everyone else feels like, cool, I can do this. And that's what we need. We need people, entrepreneurs in this country, to feel like they can step up, they can make this happen. And if we're all more vulnerable and empathetic business owners as ourselves, I think other people will reach out for support, look to us as being vulnerable, because it's actually courageous to be vulnerable and believe they can be the same. So sorry, that was very long. Clearly, I'm just going on some like I don't
No,
even
no,
know what
no.
happened. Really passionate about that.
No.
I think vulnerability is powerful.
No, absolutely. I think sharing like your highs and your lows just make your audience like feel more connected to your brand and like they know the brand story. And just being vulnerable also makes exactly that human connection like you explained, and you just feel like you know the person more, you know the brand more, you want to buy from them more. I think it just works like beneficially both ways as
And
well.
the brand can serve them better. You know, if you ask them for feedback, you can then create products or services that better serve the people you want to serve. So it really is mutually beneficial to do that. And then you create loyalty as well through that trust. So when things are a little bit tougher, which they will be, you have people who have your back and really genuinely support you because they feel like a part of your fam, which they would be.
Because of an authentic story, and it's an authentic person behind the brand. And I think conscious, authentic brands are the way forward.
100%.
Beautiful answer. Thank you for that in-depth answer. I think this whole no, it was a great answer. Thank you. Just moving on to the next question. When we speak about personal branding, social media, and everything, it really is digital business is the future for South Africa. Jolene, this question is actually posed at you. I was reading a recent article that said digital transformation is how you future-proof your business. And I think from your story, sorry, I lost track of my question. I think you did answer it partially in your first question, saying how crucial business software has actually been for your business development. But if you just want to expand on that a little bit more, you know, I think you did mention a few. You're now on Zoho. Is there anything else with how you've developed with the digital age and the digital times, how that has assisted you?
So yeah, absolutely. I think that online and digital is the way all business across the world is going. And if we just have a look at the last year with this pandemic, how that's motivated the requirement for us to all be online. So it's definitely the more that we can embrace technology, the better. As I mentioned, when we started, we had top of the line software that we needed to work with, but that is all now eventually gone online. It's hosted in the cloud, to put it that way. And from Adobe Creative Suite, which we use, to obviously elements of Google and Zoho. Like I mentioned previously, we had a whole basket, quite an extensive basket of applications that we were using online, which we've now brought into one place. But all of those things have evolved, and yeah, I think the most important thing in terms of future-proofing your business is with the fact that you no longer need to go and buy a piece of software, you no longer need to go and buy a CD with your software on and load that onto your computer. Now it's all hosted in the cloud. And that automatically future-proofs your business. Yeah, so those were like the old days.
Yeah.
I mean, what we used to do was use DVDs and back up our data. You know, it's now done online. And we can access our data from anywhere. So that's really great. But that really is future-proofing your business from a digital perspective, because the way that software is structured now and the way technology is structured now, you automatically future-proof yourself just from an operational perspective, by using and embracing those technologies as they are. With things like Adobe Creative Suite, these are updated on monthly, bi-monthly basis, and you download those updates all the time. The same with Microsoft Office, you update those at least you download those updates all the time. So you've always got the latest technology. And with Zoho, it's automatically updated. I mean, the updates that run, and you'll see the updates as you're working through the applications. So that really is about future-proofing your business, is making sure you've got decent hardware, a good computer, and good internet connection, and then it's seeing which applications are going to serve you and your business the best. And growing with those things and just keeping up to date. And it always sounds like it's a big task. It's actually not. It really isn't. It doesn't take that much effort and concern to sit and do that. It would literally take you about a day to just go through what you need, use it, and then keep on using it. Yeah.
Thank you. No, technology is becoming easier, more user-friendly to use as we develop, and it's more accessible to South Africans as well. So we should see a positive increase country with regards to that. However, some non-positive statistics here is, in actual fact, my research showed that I was doing early this week from multiple sources. So these statistics are true. Please believe me that 80.6% of business owners are males in South Africa, meaning that women only account for 19.4% of business owners in South Africa. So gender inequality in the workspace and working environment is still extremely unbalanced, despite it being the 21st century. So Divya, you were awarded South Africa Women's Month Entrepreneur of 2020 and have clearly made a stand for women in business. What advice would you give to women here today that are not confident in starting their own business? They haven't been able to, have the confidence to have their voice heard, their opinions heard, to generate their ideas and start their own businesses, especially in a very male-dominated environment.
Wow. It's just been so great listening to the other women on the panel share. And, I think at the outset of my journey into creating Amazi, I genuinely did not believe that I could do it. I really didn't believe that I had everything that I needed to get to the Amazi She tribe that is today. I was 28 years old, and when I looked around me and I tried to look for stories of success, I didn't see very many brown women who had just been courageous enough to back themselves. And so, I took my idea at the time and I sold it to a bigger, more entrenched company because I thought at the time that, they've been here, they've been doing it, they know better than me, they're more experienced than me, they can do this better. And all that ended up happening was they entrenched my feeling of not being good enough and didn't support me in bringing my idea to life and almost put this massive kind of inertia in my vision. And so after 2 years of kind of trying to battle, I had really broken down and kind of reached a very dark place where I genuinely felt at one of my lowest points. And in that moment, I made the decision to exit that partnership. And I made the decision, the very scary decision at the time, to just try on my own, try and figure out how to bring this ecosystem that would enable women to life on my own. And, I think what was really important was in those moments where I was kind of looking at how to bring Amazi about, I really had to relearn myself. So I had to give myself the opportunity to prove in so many small little ways every day to myself that I had everything that I needed within me. And instead of kind of using the energy to prove to the bigger, more credible in my eyes company at the time, I had to learn how to redirect that energy inward and look at how to just give myself the opportunity to feel like I was winning, even if it was small ways, And I think what's so beautiful about platforms like this and conversations like this, what's so amazing about what Rabia shared when she first started speaking is that she, just in sharing her story, there's intergenerational impact happening because there is the young brown girl sitting somewhere looking at Rabia going, I got this, I can do this. And that's what's so important about these platforms, is we need to change what the picture of what is successful looks like, you know. And I think in particular, something that has been really important in my journey with Amazi is finding community with like-minded women. I think that is so crucial. And, you know, we're so fortunate. When I look at the number of communities that I'm so amazed with, apart from our community, there's so many communities online. There's Agenda Women, Workplace Revolution, Sisterhood Hour, Sisterhood Success Club. You could literally go onto Instagram right now and just look at all these wonderful spaces that are being created for women to come together, to share, to help each other, to support each other, and just to understand that, you know what, you can do it. There are other women out there who are very much struggling with the same things you are, and you can do it. So I think it's the only way to kind of start changing the statistic. You know, that's a totally separate conversation, but important, I think, is putting out there stories of success that look more like the types of people that we want running businesses.
Completely. No, that was a very powerful answer. Thank you. It links to the next question about, you know, economic and social transformation, and as you say, like, you know, representing women, and especially women of color, and, you know, showing that. And now businesses are showcased online, which is really great because it inspires more people. So do you just want to touch on that topic again, Rabia? And, you know, how do you, at Switch, try and not only have a profit motive, but also do your part in uplifting and inspiring your audience, and, you know, contributing to social and economic transformation? And do you think, sorry, I just saw the second part of my question here. Do you think it is a necessity for all brands to have this motive as well as a profit motive in our country, especially?
I think the women that are on this chat with me that are a bit wiser than I am will be able to probably articulate what I want to say a lot better. But in a nutshell, hopefully you guys understand me. But in a nutshell, I think it's really kind of times up for brands who are not willing to step up and speak out about things that are happening. There was this period of time, for as long as I can remember, where it was okay for brands to kind of remain silent, and they sort of just were like, no, okay, nothing political, nothing social. We're gonna sell this thing, we're gonna make money off of this thing, and then we're gonna go business as usual. Whatever, the country can be burning down, business as usual. And then came kind of social media with more like social media and direct to consumer brands who are more interactive and more like real, less sort of corporate and unattainable and big conglomerate, and more sort of family owned business, home business, startup vibe, whatever the case is. And people started to sort of expect that, you know, when they know there's a person behind the brand, that person should speak, and that person should create awareness around things that are happening. And something I've had a lot of fun doing with Switch is chatting, especially when you know there are controversial things happening. Really sort of taking a stance and giving power back to people where brands try to shy away, or brands try to sort of create this very professional, or like a clean sort of, how can you say, like, persona of brand persona. And so yeah, I definitely think in the modern economy that brands need to be more vocal, and that some kind of social economic upliftment definitely goes hand in hand with making a profit. You can't just pick one.
Completely, I agree. And yeah, definitely, you need to be having conversations, and it doesn't matter what type of company you are. Like Zoho is a technology company having a talk about women. You know, you can use your voice and your platform and your power as a brand to have meaningful conversations, and the hard conversations that aren't necessarily easy to talk about, like serious things happening in the economy. But brands have such a power to make a difference, and a positive, impactful difference, if they just use their voice and their platform. So
That's the
I think
if you've managed to garner the attention of people, you you have a social responsibility to create change or add value. Choose one or do both, I think.
Exactly. And the last question posed to Mamazi, I think you did kind of touch on this also in your previous answer, but when we're speaking now, how to actually action that impactful change, looking at the inequality in our country, how do you think this is going to be resolved? How are we going to change the statistics? One thing you did mention is, find a tribe, lean on your community and different organizations. But how else would you say that we can make impactful change?
So this is a topic that I'm so passionate about. I mean, and thank goodness there's time limits to this conversation, because I could go on the whole night about this.
But
But
still good for time. You can expand.
I'm gonna have a moment to preach.
Yes.
But I don't know how many people know this, but women directly control, they either control or directly influence $32 trillion of consumer spend globally. And I don't know, like, imagine the number of zeros, because that's a lot of zeros. And women influence the majority of consumer spend in general. If you look across countries and you look at households, it's actually women who influence where money goes and what money is spent on. And the only way to change the statistics and to have more women-owned businesses that are not just started but are grown. It's not just about birthing new businesses. It's about actually seeing them grow. The only way to do that is if women mobilize their power when they purchase. That is the only way to do it, because there is no more powerful investment tool than conscious consumption. Put venture capital aside, put all those other forms of funding aside. The most powerful form of funding is collective conscious spending. And as women, if we truly want to affect change and we want to see more women who have started businesses and more women grow businesses, we need to be able to direct our money to women-owned business. And, all of us spend every month. There's things that we spend on a recurring basis, be it a cup of coffee every day for those people who are in the conversation who are addicted to coffee like I am, be it your whatever you spend, right? Your flat white, your cappuccino, whatever you're spending money on. That might be 25 Rand, or if you live in Cape Town, 55 Rand. I know you guys pay a lot for your coffee down there. But
we do. Almond milk, oat milk, it all adds up.
But I mean, take that as a starting point. If that's an example, right? If you challenge yourself to say, that cup of coffee that I do buy for myself every day, I'm going to challenge myself to buy it at a woman-owned cafe. It's 25 Rand and it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but that recurring support is probably her working capital. If you look at other things that you spend money on, you spend money on food, you spend money on personal care. If you were more conscious and more directed with yourself and challenged yourself to say, I'm going to put this into a woman-owned business, that's the growth capital she needs to go and do the R&D that she needs to introduce a new product and to grow her market. So, in our community, I'm very fussy about what we call ourselves. We don't call ourselves consumers. We call ourselves investors, because we're women who direct our money in a very purposeful way. And when you do that, you are actually an investor. And so I think the only way to change these ratios when it comes to more women succeeding and more women thriving is if we hold ourselves accountable to being deliberate with our money. The flip side of that, Tessa, by the way, is when we spend mindlessly, we're actually contributing to the status quo. So we're contributing to things staying unchanged. If we want to see more women thrive, if we want to see more people of color thrive, it actually means that each of us, in the way that we are showing up, the way that we spend, we actually have to change our habits, because that's not going to change the status quo. Just either talking about it or asking funders to put more money behind it or asking government to change policy, So it really is a matter of saying, if I truly believe in bringing that statistic to look something more equal, like 50-50, instead of the 80-20 that it's at, it means that I need to invest more in women through the way that I spend.
No, completely. Your coffee example, it was, very relatable, because I think most people here, either tea or coffee or whatever, your drink preference is, you go to the most convenient place. Seattle is just down the road. I'm going there. Let me just quickly pick it up. You don't actually think of yourself, am I getting coffee from a women-owned sustainable business, or, a meaningful business? Who am I supporting? It's, another Vita Coffee, another big chain company. And with just making a small change, like where you buy your coffee from, that has that ripple effect for that business to succeed. So yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. I'm just
Can I
gonna
just
exit
add on
this.
that? Sorry, what I love about
No,
that
please
answer
do. I'm
is
gonna
that
make us bigger.
so empowering, because sometimes you hear responses to that and you just think, okay, well, that's not me. I'm so this. I don't have time to go and sign this thing and do this thing and show up at that thing next Saturday and but we are all spending every day, as you say. So as long as we just stop just floating along the river of life like turds and being intentional, becoming investors, then so I really love that answer. Thank you. I thought it was really, really beautiful.
Yeah, changing from a consumer to an investor.
I like
Yes?
that answer too. And I
Right?
just want to say that I feel very positively about what Divya's just said, because I definitely see that kind of a transition in behavior, especially with my peers. And everybody's just busy educating each other, and everybody's okay, woke culture is a very damaging, woke washing is a very damaging phenomenon, but it can also be valuable in a way like this, where as girls we can hold our friends accountable for, where are you buying this from, where are you buying that from, what does it mean, do you know where your money is going? And to be quite honest with you, I never thought about it the way Divya just put it. And I'm so glad for this opportunity to be on this Zoho call and Zoom call and just chat to all of you guys, and to see things in a different light. I definitely will be looking a lot more closely at where my money is going on a month-to-month basis.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, just to add to your comments, Max and Rabia. So try this out with a group of women who are in your close circle. So last year when the pandemic hit, I kind of got together on a virtual call with a group of close women that I trust. And I asked them to bring their favorite product, their favorite self-care product to the conversation. And I didn't tell them why. And I kind of was just like, look, let's just catch up. And so it wasn't a big group of us. There were about 8 of us on the call. And kind of checked in. We were like, it was still the onset of the virtual engagements. We were all having moments about how weird is it. And then, I asked everybody, I said, can you hold up your product? Every single product that was held up was not even a South African product.
Wow.
And so what I had said to my circle was, I have seen you advocate for local. I have seen you talk about it. I have been in conversations with you about it. Why are you not actioning it? Why? The local alternatives are amazing. And what's the reason? And so, to your point, Rabia, it is important to hold the people that you directly influence accountable. And you can.
We got a lot of positive comments coming through saying agreed. I love how everyone is connected to the conscious consumerism conversation. And one really powerful comment here, Carmen just commented saying, I've just started a new business, completely unplanned, completely unprepared. I'm suffering from intense imposter syndrome, and I just happened to discover this session online a day ago. Damn, I'm so glad for this motivation. I'm feeling totally inspired to keep going. Thank you all so much. That's amazing. Good luck on your new business venture. We do have a question. Someone has said, Vanessa has said, have any of you ever been shut down by your business ideas just because you are a woman? And if so, how did you overcome any negativity from those comments? Have any of you experienced that?
Divya, go for it.
Ramya, how did you know?
I was just coming to hear it. Was like, give me the talking stick.
Absolutely. I have been. The very first time that, so I don't think that I introduced Amazi properly, but we're a social impact brand, and we have both a nonprofit and a for-profit element that combine together to kind of create the change that we create. And when I was first looking for premises to host the women who had trained and give them an opportunity to trade, in the very first conversation that I had with a landlord over the phone, a potential landlord, I explained who we were, explained the business model, explained how we were going to make rental. And, the first thing that he said to me was, okay, so where's the decision maker? Who's the decision maker? Let's schedule a call with them. And I said to him, well, it's me. I'm the decision maker. And immediately he just said to me, but you don't seem to have a credible trading history. So we don't deal with people who don't have credible trading histories. And he put the phone down on me. I've also had, and literally the same week, I've had numerous funders, like my very first investor that I pitched to. The first question he asked me was, do women really pay for this stuff? And I was like, yes, they do. I've had men kind of send me death threats. I've had men chain the doors of my training facility. Yeah, I've faced patriarchy. I think the entrenched patriarchy and misogyny with which you're confronted, particularly when it comes to decision makers, I've faced it in a very visceral way. But let me tell you something, it doesn't stop us at all.
Absolutely.
I can, wow, Divya, just brown girl to brown girl, love. I think I can echo that, probably not to the full degree of Divya, but like whenever I would talk to anybody, they would always be like, "Where's your dad?" And I'm like, "What? Why do you want to speak to my dad?"
Gosh. Everyone's
I
saying
think it's
shocking.
also a brown
Oh my
community
word.
thing as well.
Brown, it's ultimately a brown girl thing. It's like, where's your dad? Where's your brother? Where's some other male? Where's someone that's not you, that is a male, that we can talk to get things done?
Exactly.
Someone has said, as a woman, which stereotype would you like to never hear again?
Oprah. Potentially Oprah. Yeah.
Okay, there doesn't seem to be any more questions. If anyone wants to ask a question, please type in the chat box now, as the session will be ending soon. Let's see, is there anything you guys want to add or share or?
Just thank you. This was so lovely. And I think that, this is one of the things people need to be doing more of, just having conversations, creating safe spaces for them to show up and chat about all kinds of things. It's, and we have been seeing so much more of it, and I think it needs to continue. So thanks for
general question.
I felt like I was hanging out with my girlfriends that I've never met, but are still my girlfriends.
Yeah,
okay, we've got some. Everyone is saying, I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Just one general question from Sarah is, how impactful do you think conversations like these are with other women business owners? I think the general consensus is they are impactful.
Yeah.
I think that
makes a big difference to support each other. To be able to just hear experience from other people, that makes a huge difference. And to just be able to support each other and share our stories, that can make the biggest difference. So spaces like this are, as you said, Maxine, are really important.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that imposter syndrome is so real, and to an extent, it's kind of sad. I know it's not necessarily a gender-based thing. I mean, males can also feel it, but I think particularly for women, we're just like, how can we do this? Can we even do this? And when you chat to other women who are doing it, they can maybe assure you, like, it's okay to feel like you don't know what you're doing. No one knows what they're doing with anything. That's just live. Everyone just pretends like they know what's going on and they know what they're doing. We're all just human and showing up. And I think the more you connect, especially with other women business owners, and maybe share those fears, they can really make space for you and encourage you. So I think they're super important. They've helped me personally so much.
Same.
Another question I think all of you this could be directed to any of you is, what inspiration did you have for starting your own business?
I was actually really fortunate. I came from a company which was run by women, and I started out with my first business partner was female, and all of our clients were female as well. So it was a group of really, the people that we worked with were all really powerful, very experienced women who supported us. So we were very, very lucky, very, very fortunate. So yeah, I'm incredibly fortunate to have had that experience. It just gives you such a boost to have that sort of support around you, which again is why these conversations are so important, to be able to boost each other. And as you said, Divya, for you to support other women. All the people in my team, all my outsourced team are all women, and I refuse to, quite frankly, I refuse to employ men. So from our website developer to my graphic designer, we are all women. We're just a big team of women, and we want to keep it that way because we're there to support each other, and women power.
Yes, that's incredible. That's so good to hear. One more question for Rabia. How do you deal with not being taken seriously being a business owner at such a young age? Do you experience anything like that? I think you're on mute. Sorry.
That I think when I was younger, and it's actually funny that I say when I was younger because I'm 21 now, but like when I was even younger than that,
So young.
it would bother me a lot more because you're just like, you're looking to these people that are older than you. You think they know more than you. You think that like you trust them for some reason because you're younger. And so I learned very quickly growing up that I'm not supposed to do that with adults. Just because somebody's an adult and just because somebody's older than you or more experienced than you does not mean they know better than you, or that you should look to them for that kind of approval or whatever the case is. You're a boss in your own right, and like if I know it sounds so cliche, but like the older I get, the more I find out that the cliches are true. If you don't back yourself, nobody's going to even give you a chance. So, and you know that the thing of like fake it till you make it, it's legit. Believe it, internalize it, normalize it. Fake it till you make it is legit, because if you pretend to exude confidence, you will exude confidence, and everybody around you will be confident that you know what you're doing, even if you don't know what you're doing. And then the older you get, the more you realize how everybody is just doing that. They're faking it till they're making it. So you too should fake it till you make it. And eventually, I promise you, you will make it.
It's exactly it.
Good answer. Okay, I think we have time for like maybe one or two more questions. A general question is, what's the greatest advice you've ever been given? I think this could be in relation to life or business. Does anyone have one piece of advice that really stood out for them that someone may have given them over the years?
I got one: to trust my gut and to trust myself. And I think it's really important for women to trust themselves. It really, really is very, very important. So that was one piece of advice that I was given when I started out, is just trust yourself and know that you're capable of doing things. You're infinitely capable.
Max, do you want to add on to that?
Mine was, it's not as like as emotionally, there were lots like that, but this is just one little practical thing. I think a lot of people, if they're watching, might be that it's very helpful, especially in the beginning stages of your business, is you do want to work to be able to work on your business and not in your business. And I think when you start and like you're doing everything yourself, and then you it's growing maybe faster than you can, and you really feel like you're in it and you can't come up for air. But just remember that the goal the whole time is to be able to work on it. One, you're not supposed to be the one who's crashing and burning out all the time. Like, that's not going to be sustainable. And two, you're the one with the vision. You're the one who needs to be able to, I always say, like, captain the ship, be navigating where you're going on the horizon. If you are like just fixing a rope at the back of the deck, the whole ship's going to crash anyway. So I think just having that as your ultimate, every step you take, okay, I'm trying to work on, not in, not in like a business way, just in setting a vision way.
No,
I think
I completely agree.
The best advice that I've ever been given was from the most incredible Indian feminist. And she said to me, unlearn every day. It's not about learning every day, it's unlearn. Especially for a brown woman, when you're born into a culture that has such it defines for you who you are, what you're going to be, what success looks like. You have to actively unlearn everything that is being taught to you because you were wired to think certain ways of yourself. And even as you grow up and you start changing the roles that you take on, you could take on the role of partner, wife, mother. You need to keep unlearning what you saw because what you saw isn't necessarily the right way. And that I think is so important and so beautiful, unlearn. Because we all talk about learning, but it's actually about unlearning.
I think just to touch on what you just said, my mom was actually telling me the other day how, as women, the first things we are taught is shame and guilt for everything. So anything that happens, we first internalize it as either shame or guilt. And I just wonder, I was sitting there, I was thinking, I was just wondering, how are we supposed to really get anywhere with that? Like, you can have the greatest business idea, you can want to do these great, big, amazing things, but how are you supposed to get anywhere with that being your like neural data, your primary data in your brain? And so 100% Divya, like, unlearn.
Every day,
It's a
because
very
it doesn't get
interesting
any
take.
easier.
I hadn't thought about phrasing it that way before. Thank you for sharing. Unlearn, that's a new one for me today. Everyone's just saying really impactful conversation. Thank you so much, guys. Everyone's saying you've made my day. You've made my day. The best conversation. So all really positive feedback. I think our time has come to an end. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and your insights. It's been great having you here. And yeah, we'll be in touch soon. Everyone go follow these people on social media. They're incredible and they post regularly. And yeah, we hope to have you guys on another panel soon and enjoy your evening.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Bye,
conversation.
guys. Lots of love. I can never do that properly. There we go. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a good evening. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.